Good to go.
Hello, welcome back to Boxing This Week. It's Boxing This Week 36. I want to say we've got a huge fight week. We had a huge fight week last week, but this week is probably the card of the year. Can't see it being beaten, although they will try. Bivol-Beterbiev II. First of all, Paolo, how are you? Ooh, rhyming. Beautiful.
I am very well. Excited for a weekend of boxing that one, I'm not actually having to do anything on apart from I can just watch and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And two, interesting card, interesting time. It's made me ask a few questions about Saudi, which I'll get into shortly. But
okay.
Yeah, man, I got a bit of an approach this week, so yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay. Well, first of all, let's just get started with the weekly roundup. Now, we're going to keep it pretty short. We know a lot happened last week, but realistically, those fights weren't compelling enough to talk about compared to Bivol-Beterbiev. So, Catterall lost to Barboza Jr. I'm quite upset for him, but ultimately the right decision.
Fair result.
Yeah, and it is good that we see the right result for the away fighter. It's just unfortunate because Catterall should have been undisputed, unified when he beat Josh Taylor the first time, and now we're looking at a guy that's going to have to fight his way back. He should have been a world title holder this whole time. It's sad to see, but he'll come back, and Barboza Jr. is a lot better than I thought he was.
Yeah.
Keyshawn Davis is now a world champion. Did it very quickly. Did it in 14 fights. Beat Bereshek with relative ease. Knocked him out. Made it look quite easy. And Abdullah Mason returned. Mason also looking very strong on the undercard.
Conor loves Abdullah Mason, man.
Mate, he's unreal. So
pause.
I don't give a shit. So let's move on to Boxing This Week 36. Bivol-Beterbiev II. I think this is fair enough. This is going to be the big topic. Now, I think we should work our way through the fights as they happen. So, like a little reminder for the people watching, we got Bivol-Beterbiev rematch, Dubois-Parker, Shakur Stevenson versus Josh Padley, which we will get into. Carlos Adames versus Adames-Sheeraz, Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Israel Madrimov, Callum Smith versus Joshua Buatsi, and Ajit Kabayel versus Bivol-Beterbiev. Crazy card. Literally not a bad fight on there, except for one. But we'll get into that because it's nobody's fault. And yeah. Let's address that first, actually. Let's go Shakur Stevenson versus Josh Padley first. Let's get that kind of out of the way, if you like. What do we think of that as a late replacement?
I think it's just... I'm really, really struggling to see, and I'm going to keep saying it, how you've got a fighter who's such, maybe say here, in terms of his ability, clearly, but he's just fighting down there, like a lot. And that's no disrespect to the fighters, bro, but Shakur Stevenson, you're talking about a pound for pound top 5 he is at the moment.
Well, he should, that's where he should be, yeah.
But that's where the rankings are put him for time, pound for pound, top 10, top 5. But if I was to ask any boxing fan without Googling it, can you name me the last 2 fighters that he fought?
It's gonna be tough.
With regards to Josh Padley, obviously, best of luck to him. Definitely going to be coming in as the underdog. Which is clear to see, but nevertheless, it's boxing. Anything can happen. However, I do think, I'm saying, for me, we're all talking about this pound for pound fighter, but is the quality in opponents matching where the pedestal he's put on?
Not right now, but we can't blame him for this. In fairness.
No. Late replacement for this one.
And he has been calling out Gervonta Davis for a long time now. It's not like he doesn't want that fight. But equally, you are right. The fights he has had do not warrant him to be that high pound for pound.
Why can't he fight? Look, let's be honest, if the fights are not there for him, specifically Davis and stuff. Why doesn't he look towards the Lomachenko's that sort of way?
Yeah, I mean, Williams Zepeda would be the easiest one to make. That's the one I'd like to see as well, because I think that's a hard fight for him. Gervonta Davis, Williams Zepeda. I don't know if that's a hard fight for Gervonta Davis, just style wise, but Zepeda could give Shakur some problems. I think we'd also see the best of Shakur from that fight. No, you are right, but I mean, let's look at it from what it is. Floyd Schofield wasn't a great fight to start with.
No.
That's the fact. So we're kind of going from an okay fight to a not great fight. But I do want to say I wish Josh Paddy all the best, because I've spoken to the guy quite a few times. We were meant to be doing an interview about 6 months ago. It never really happened, but he's a lovely bloke. So all the best to him. And then hopefully we'll get an interview at some point, because since then he's gone on to beat Mark Chamberlain and now he's fighting Shakur Stevenson.
For Josh Padley, it's great, yeah. But I'm saying for Shakur Stevenson, where he's currently at and what he demands in the division is two different things, because I don't think he's proved anything to boxing fans yet, other than like he's unreal boxer from what we can see. But then you have to question. It's like, do you know what it is? It's like I'm going to use the comparison. Yeah, Deontay Wilder, looked unreal fighting the guys that he fought over the years, knocking them out quick.
Yeah.
But realistically, his best win is what? Luis Ortiz?
Yeah.
He was about 55 when he fought him. So, yeah, but it's true though. Like, so I'm saying, like, if you're on a level, which I clearly see Shakur Stevenson is, but then the way you're winning your fights and the opponents you're beating, it's not like, it doesn't really impress me, to be honest. But he's in there, he's boxing. Nevertheless, both of them are going in there to put it all on the line. I'm not boxing, but I'm saying from a fan's point of view, like, that's got to be the weakest fight on the card.
It is by a long shot. But this is the thing. It was the weakest fight on the night before the pullout, because if you think about where Shakur is compared to where we believe Shakur is, or what we're being told is true, then Floyd Schofield shouldn't have been in there with him anyway.
Yeah.
These late replacements have got a little bit of history now with Saudi. We get them quite a lot, and the guys that are stepping in are underprepared.
Yeah.
We saw it with Ishmael P. Davis, definitely against Kelly, where he came in unfit. And we saw it against Boashuk, where, he wasn't unfit, but he wasn't ready for that level. It just worries me a little that we're seeing this. I mean,
1 second, Connor. I need to get. Apologies, God. Sorry, carry on what you're saying. Greedy, do me a favor, quick. Yeah, I'm gonna let Connor finish talking, but you're on our live episode. I need to ask you a question, but let me just let Connor finish talking, and I'm gonna ask.
My point is finished. I'm more interested in this, because I feel like Greedy's gonna come out with something about Shakur.
Let me talk to you quickly, yeah. Josh Paddle, because this if anyone's a Shakur cheerleader, it's this man, yeah. So let me ask you a question, bro. A Shakur Stevenson cheerleader.
Yeah, that's me, brother.
Yeah, you hearing this? Yeah? So my question to you, Greeny, is where are we putting Shakur Stevenson, bearing in mind he's got another stepping opponent in Saudi. His last 3 opponents have been below par for what is expected of him. How do we put him in this pound for pound? How are we putting him in this pound for pound conversation now?
Pound for pound? What? He's top 10.
Yeah, but what's he doing to justify it?
It's just his style, bro. He's impregnable, fam. You get me? Defense first. His boxing is a defense game. You get me? So for me, I rank him highly, innit? I think he beats Tank and all of them.
You think he beats Tank, Connor?
No. But I understand why, but no. Tank will break the guard.
He'll beat Tank.
But he's
In due course, when that fight happens, he'll beat Tank. Because that's going to happen in about 2 years, 3 years. It won't happen anytime soon.
No, Tank's asking for 4 Ferraris to even come to Saudi, so never mind fight. But
Tank wants 4 Ferraris to go Saudi, innit? So.
Yeah, they got more than that for him. Do you know what I mean? But that's if he's still fighting back in them times. Do you know what I mean? Because Tank's talking about retiring, from what I'm seeing.
I mean, do you know why I had to ring Greedy, Connor? Because you know how hard it is to get this guy on videos now. He's celebrity. So yeah, he's going viral with Combat Kings. So yeah.
Get out of here, man. You man live now? It's a Wednesday though, bro. I thought you man go Thursday.
Yeah, we had to change the plan this week because of commitment. So we're doing it tonight.
All right. So what time you live till?
We just started, bro.
You just started. I've been on for about an hour.
Yeah.
Send me a link. I'll see if I can get on there.
All right, cool.
Let me go talk to the boss.
All right, cool. No worries. In a bit.
All right, man. Love you.
Sorry, good. I thought it was good to get his opinion. That's all. Sorry, Connor.
No. So yeah, all I was saying is, Shakur is brilliant, and from what I have seen, he is brilliant. There's no denying that. Well, that's not what we're saying, but look at these fights: Artem Haratirian, Edwin De Los Santos. De Los Santos is okay. Artem's all right. Shishiro Yoshino was okay. Robson Conchal is very good, but that was 2022. These aren't, this is a 2022. Shakur Stevenson was pound for pound because he beat Oscar Valdez and he beat Robson Conchal and he did it convincingly.
Yeah.
But it's 2025 now and he's fighting Josh Padley. That's a problem. It doesn't mean the guy isn't talented, but the most dangerous fighters in the world and the best fighters in the world are the active fighters. Shakur's saying he's not going to fight more than twice a year ever again. And one of those fights is going to be Josh Padley. This isn't meant disrespectfully to Padley, but Padley isn't this level. He could get there potentially, but I mean, where is Padley on the world level? He's... Oh my God, I'm going to struggle to find him here. Right, hold on. Padley is ranked number 55 in the world on BoxRec. Now, BoxRec isn't really fair because Mark Chamberlain is still ranked higher than Padley, even though Padley beat Mark Chamberlain convincingly. But that needs to come in. You have to think there are better fighters out there. And I'm very happy for Josh Padley. I'm very happy for Josh because he's got his opportunity and it's life-changing and all the rest of it. But this is just not, this isn't really what we want to see. But in fairness, I don't know who else could have come involved. I don't know who else they could have got in.
It's interesting because we'll go back. We will, obviously, we've got a lot to go through. I do want to come back to that point, but we do have a lot to go through. Yeah. I'm just sending a message out to 3 very notable people who would have an opinion on this, and I'm hoping they send me a voice note back because I'd love to play it. Let me just, you lot, quick question. I'm doing a live. We're live. We're live right now. Shakur Stevenson's pound for pound top 10. Currently, is that right, Connor?
Yep.
What are you lot's thoughts on it, considering he's had weak opponents the last couple of times? Where do you put Shakur in terms of your ranking? Let me know. If you might reply via voice note, I'm going to play these voice notes out loud. We're going to carry on with the show, but we're going to come back to it. Just interested to get people's opinions, Connor. We can't get one live, but I can get the voice notes on. It's always good.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
I'm not sure. Bit of a weird fight, but considering the card, to have an endpoint on it, it's difficult to not put it at the bottom because of the other fights.
Yeah. Let's move up the card in order of kind of quality of the fights. I'm excited to see this because I do like watching Zhang. Kabayel's very good. We don't have to talk about this for too long. There's not a lot to say. I imagine if Kabayel can get through the first 4 rounds, Kabayel will win.
I've got Kabayel winning.
If he can get through the first 4, I think he wins it pretty easily. He's going to move too much for Zhang. He just needs to not get caught.
Is his style all wrong for Zhang? That's the question you need to ask.
I think so. But I think Zhang's wrong for everyone in the first 3 or 4 rounds where he has a bit of energy. When Zhang can actually throw a combination, well, not really a combination, but throw consecutive punches, which is technically a combination, but he does it very slow, so I don't count. Doesn't count. When he's able to do that and he's able to cut the ring off, Zhang is genuinely one of the most dangerous heavyweights in the world. But he can only do that for 3 or 4 rounds. I think Ajit Kabayel was smart enough. He'll lose those 3 or 4 rounds. Just bounce around him. And then rounds 5 onwards, he'll put it on him and he'll win those rounds. And he'll win by points. I don't think he'll finish him. I don't see why. I don't see how that as an outcome. But Kabayel, I assume, will win this fight.
I'm saying Kabayel will win and he'll shock people how he wins.
You think he'll knock him out?
I think there's a possibility that Zhang will gas out.
Yeah.
Get tired. Because here's the thing about Zhang, yeah? He's in the same predicament Joe Joyce is in. See, if they've joined the heavyweights, or Zhang's at a point now where he starts putting wins together. He's looking at world title shots, right? Kabayel's looking at world title shots. Kabayel is how old?
I don't think Kabayel's too old. He ain't young, though.
All right, so Kabayel is
32.
Yeah, see what I'm saying to you, bro. Kabayel could go on holiday for a year, come back and box.
Yeah.
Zhang comes back from a holiday, he's 45.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying to you, like,
no, you're right.
There's time is not on Zhang's side. So if, say, for example, in the event that there's a draw, Kabayel could take the rematch. He's got time. Zhang, I'm just looking at it as a time thing, innit? Like, I just don't really know how far Zhang could go unless he's given a title shot soon. This run he's on, this run he's on, it's more a time thing, and that's where him and Joe Joyce are very similar. And then do you get to a point where you might take a few knocks at the age that they're at now, slowing down heavyweights? Will it affect them? I think Zhang's a good boxer, but I think Kabayel's all wrong for him. I think he's going to be too sharp, too quick, and too young.
Yeah.
And I think,
yeah.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, because like people think I've got this agenda against Zhang. I think Zhang's a good boxer, but I just think he's in the heavyweight division at a time where like he can't afford. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, yeah. This is an unpopular opinion. Maybe people say he's not ready. He don't want to fight a 19-year-old Moses Atuma, but in the same breath, like Moses Atuma hasn't earned the right to be there yet. I hear it, but if they sign that fight tomorrow, Atuma's putting him in a spliff. Like, I'm saying that now. Like, it's
too quick for him.
It's too
quick.
You're
right. Zhang's at a point where he has to win. This is not a fight he can lose. Zhang could fight for a world title and lose. And that would be just about okay. He could maybe have time to come back from it because you can go from title fight to title fight. Not really when there's an undisputed champion, or unified champion rather, because of Dubois. But Zhang has to beat Kabayel. Kabayel doesn't have to beat Zhang, but Kabayel's younger, fresher, moves quicker. I genuinely think if Kabayel gets out of the first 3 or 4 rounds, he'll beat him no problem. But I am excited for the fight. I think it's still a good fight. I imagine there'll be some good moments. It wouldn't surprise me if Kabayel is put down at some point, but I think it will go very similar to the Joseph Parker fight, Zhang Parker. And I think Kabayel will win. The next fight of the night is Buatsi-Smith.
interesting fight.
The order that I'm kind of just assuming it's going to go in. Buatsi-Smith is a great fight. I'm excited to see what Smith has left and just how good Buatsi is.
we keep asking it. See, I'm looking at this from two angles. You get the best Smith. I think he beats a lot of light heavyweights.
Yeah.
It potentially could beat Buatsi. But also, I'm just more interested to see Buatsi and how he adapts to situations like this, because in his last fight, he was fighting a guy that people thought he'd lose against.
Yeah.
Dispatched him. So it's like people have always asked that question. Buatsi's been there around the world level. How good is Buatsi? I think Buatsi's very good at it. Like, I think this fight is going to bring out the best in him. I think it's a great opponent for him, provided we get the best Smith. Because given Smith's been through a lot, he's been in a lot of fights. It's been a lot of big fights. There's a lot of wear and tear there. But Smith on his day is one of the, for me, one of the best British boxers doing what he's doing now. So it's like, it's interesting to see where Smith's at. I think he needs to get the best out of. Will he get the best? Will we get the best Buatsi from him fighting Smith, or will the lack or inactivity, because he had a run out, obviously, on the cruiserweight card in Saudi, which saw who lost their world title.
Bivol-Smith.
Bivol-Smith lost his world title. So it's like we saw him on. He was on that card, Callum Smith.
No. He was on the.
He was on a Queensbury card.
He was on Sonny Edwards Galaya fight.
Sorry, Sonny got mixed up. Sonny Edwards Galaya fight. It wasn't really hard to take where he was at. He'd done what he needed to do. But this is a massive step up from his last opponent. So it's like, I'm not doubting his ability in it, but I am on the fence. I don't know who to pick.
I agree with you, except I'm not really on the fence with this. I think Buatsi's activity against hard fights, where he's had Willie Hutchinson in his ear in a fight week, and everyone's saying that Hutchinson's going to be this great fighter, and Buatsi just did his job brilliantly. Buatsi always seems to raise to the level that he needs to be.
Yeah.
He was just about better than Aziz, but was definitely better. There was no dispute in that. He was just about better than Hutchinson, but definitely better. I think he will beat Callum Smith, because I think Callum Smith is a little bit too old. He's been boxing a long time. Smith can be hurt. It's not hard to say Smith's best punch is his left hook. Canelo laid the blueprint on how you diffuse that. You just batter his left arm. Beterbiev obviously showed you can just run through Callum Smith. Nobody's like Beterbiev, so I'm not expecting Buatsi to do that. But I think it will be a really good fight. But I do think Buatsi will be, again, he'll just step up another level and be that one little bit better than Callum Smith is. But I wouldn't be. But then this is the thing. This is the beauty of all these fights. Is I would not be surprised if Callum Smith comes out and absolutely just outdoes Buatsi, or if they go to war for 12 rounds, because that's the level of these two fighters. We're talking world level fighters here. They're just in the hardest division going, or one of the probably the hardest. We got to do official predictions for every fight, though. So I'm going Josh Buatsi. Where are you going, Paolo? No sitting on the fence. You got to have. You can get it wrong. It's cool.
Connor's onto me, Connor's had enough of that sitting on the fence stuff. He's saying to me, Connor's the captain here,
I am
the captain now. Dude, what a film, by the way. Connor's saying to me, I've got to pick someone. I'm gonna go with Buatsi, just based on activity, harder fights. But that's not a solid. I'm going with Buatsi, because I do believe the best Smith comes out, he could cause a lot of problems for Buatsi. But going at it right now, I'm going to agree with you there, Buatsi.
Right. Hard to decide what fight will come next. I'm going to go on the basis that it's not for a world title. Madrimov versus Virgil-Ortiz Jr. Crazy fight.
That fight's crazy.
I think this will be fight of the night.
I think Madrimov is going to win. I'm just going to say it early doors.
I agree.
I think he looked. I actually think he looked very good against Terence.
He did. He just looked like you could tell which of them had 40 professional fights and which had 10.
Mm.
That's all it looked like. There wasn't a massive difference in quality between the two of them, which shows you how good Crawford is, because Madrimov ain't no.
It was a chess game. That fight was a chess game. But Ortiz, though, yeah, man. I've kind of made. As soon as I saw the lineup for this, I made my mind up on that fight.
Yeah.
I just think Madrimov should win. Tough fighter. Really liked his last performance, but rate him as a boxer as well. Watched him a couple of times as well, and it's like, yeah. I mean, I know we got to talk about Ortiz a little bit, but I'm just getting my prediction out early. Do you know what I mean?
I'm actually on board with the Madrimov prediction. I think Ortiz, up until his last fight, had basically no weakness, and it was a bit like, oh my god, this guy's unstoppable. And then against Boashuk, we kind of saw Ortiz can't really fight on his back foot.
Yeah.
Or, well, he can, but not to the level that he needs to be. Mm-hmm. So when a fighter is able to pressure him like Boashuk does, because Boashuk is just an animal in himself, Ortiz really struggled on that back foot to keep pressure, to defend himself, to not get hit, not get put down. And we saw suddenly, actually, there's quite a big weakness there. Now, in fairness to him, you will have sorted that out to an extent.
Yeah.
But there's only so much you can learn in that amount of time. Madrimov feels like a pretty complete fighter. If you're looking to be knocked out, he'll knock you out. If you want to go 12 rounds, he can outbox you. He's kind of got everything in the same way great fighters do. But we know what Virgil Ortiz is going to do. Virgil Ortiz is going to come forward, swing leather, connect, and if you're able to still stand in front of him, then you got a chance. But if you can't hack the power, the fight's done before you even know about it. So it'll be interesting. I think Madrimov will win on the basis of experience, and in terms of just his experience at that, almost the amateur pedigree that he's bringing. Yeah, Madrimov.
Yeah, I'm agreeing there still. Of that,
I think fight of the night.
I actually think that fight might be over quicker than people think as well. I can't give a round prediction though, because they're both good fighters, isn't it? But
yeah,
there is a possibility Madrimov could get him out early, you know.
Yeah. Madrimov
getting put out early, put it that way.
Madrimov has everything. There's no reason why he can't put him out. But look, that's a really hard fight to talk about too much, because we don't actually know what either one's going to... Well, we know what Ortiz brings, but we don't know what Madrimov's going to do. Madrimov might meet him in the middle of the ring and trade leather. Madrimov might box him on and just counter him all night long.
Yeah.
Hard to say. Now, this is a fight. Carlos Adames versus Adames-Sheeraz. By the way, this is massive for British boxing, because currently we have 2 world champions on the men's side. Women are killing it. Our female fighters are doing great. But we have Nick Bull and Daniel Dubois. It feels like British boxing's going through quite a weak era right now.
Yeah.
So Adames-Sheeraz needs to do a job. Get us another world title. Bring something home. And I think he will.
Step up in opponent.
It is, but I think Adames-Sheeraz has shown he's about 8 levels above everyone else he's fought.
No, I agree. And I think the curse of like British fighters getting to this point outside of maybe heavyweight and then actually getting the job done, there's a curse. There's a few that have done it, like you said. But even Nick Bull got done dirty, do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
before he won his world title. there's a I don't know, man. There's Adames-Sheeraz. I've got him down to win because I want him to win. But it's going to be tough for him though. It's a tough fight.
Yeah.
Talking about them two as well. You know, when I say step up in opponents, like it's a world level fight that he's taken on. WBC title, my favorite president, Mauricio. Money man. He's funnily enough, Adames-Sheeraz is an ambassador for the WBC, isn't he? Or is that real?
Oh, he's ambassador for Riyadh. Sorry, he's ambassador for Riyadh.
Do you know what? It's going to be tough, but from what I've seen of Adames-Sheeraz, I'm gonna say that the only. I mean, I haven't watched Adames-Sheeraz and thought the only grey patch that lurks over him is that Bradley Skeet fight. It's in the past, but it's the only grey patch that lurks over him because other than that, like he's been phenomenal. Do you know what I mean?
Most fighters do have those fights though. You can look back at a lot of careers, and there's normally early doors. There's a fight that they probably want to forget, but actually they're probably the best fights they've ever had.
You forget, bro. He could be losing that fight still. It's the maddest thing. He was losing. I thought anyway that So but it was a fight he probably took on early in his career against an opponent who's very experienced. By the way, outright British cruiserweight champion, outright middleweight British champion is what I'm trying to say. So it's like, man, like this is a big step up for him now when you're talking about the Europeans at world level. So, but I given my final prediction, I've got Adames-Sheeraz to win. It's hard to see anything other than a knockout at the moment because of the way he's been moving.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think he steamrolls him like he's been doing everyone else, or do you think he just wins? I've heard good things about Carlos Adames in sparring. Apparently, the rumors are he's had a great camp. Like he has looked the best he's looked. That's not coming from his camp either. So that's not one of those typical, our fighter looks amazing.
This is common sources.
Yeah, these are. Well, actually, it's Twitter, but
biggest
fairly reliable though. Fairly reliable from what I've read from the same places.
Unless you're reading Kanye West's tweets, then
we ain't reading Kanye West's tweets.
No, we're not. But I'm saying to you, don't believe everything you see on Twitter, innit?
No, I'm not. But these guys are generally pretty good. Everything boxing, generally pretty good.
Yeah.
So worth noting. But I still don't see a world where Sheeraz doesn't knock him out. But that's just maybe because I'm on the hype train.
Yeah, that's what you're on, man. Yeah. You've got to back. You listen. I'm backing the Brits, man.
Yeah, 100%.
We need a title because right now it's a mad team. Oh, my light's gone off. Apologies. Technical difficulties. 1 second. We need a world title anyway. Like we need another one.
We do have Kakachi and Leeward fighting for a title soon. Yeah. So in fairness, there will be another one, but. Anthony Kakachi does have one technically, so we'll allow it. We've got 3, but we need another. Right, this is where we get a little bit more detailed. Triple D, Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say a lot of people are as excited for this fight as they are for the main event, which is kind of crazy to me, but understandable because when 2 heavyweights are fighting, you've got 2 of the most in-form heavyweights fighting for a world title, and it's not Joshua, Fury, or Usyk, which is nice. It's quite refreshing. So, I think Daniel. I said about a month ago I thought Joseph Parker might have the tools to beat Daniel Dubois.
I'm having a
that's all right. We'll put an epilepsy warning up though. I said a few months ago, I think Joseph Parker could have the tools to win this fight. I've since done some research, and by research I mean rewatched some of their fights. I don't think Joseph Parker does have the tools to win this fight, and I think this fight will go Daniel Dubois' way by knockout a little bit later on. You're shaking your head.
No, man. No, man. Joseph Parker is doing a job. I'm telling you, bro. It's going to shock people. Again, I want the British fight. I want the British fighters to win their titles, man. But I don't like the way people are writing Parker off, bro. I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying to you, I don't like the way people are writing him off because he is a handful for people, you know.
True.
And I was talking to Dan about this, just as a boxing fan, Savage Dan.
Yeah.
And, we was talking about it, and he said to me, it's a fight that you've got to take, and obviously Daniel Dubois being the power puncher, you don't want to get in line or in range and stay out of that eyesight of Daniel Dubois.
Yeah.
Box smart, but I think if he does that, he'll be by far the quicker fighter. And if he boxes smart, I think Daniel Dubois will struggle to hit him, and I think Daniel Dubois slows down predominantly as he goes on. Joseph Parker's able to keep a good tempo throughout his fights.
True.
Provided he don't get hit with any big shots, but then we've seen him come back from big shots as well and recover really well.
That's a good point. So that's the main reason I think Parker has a chance. He's got the chin that really it's been cracked badly by Joyce, but ultimately Parker takes a lot to hurt him. My problem is that Zhang put Parker down twice. Zhang can't sustain pressure on Parker or any fighter because he's never fit enough to do it. Dubois, we've seen in his last fights, not against AJ because he didn't need to, but we've seen it against Miller. We saw it against Hrgovic. He throws bombs and walks towards you for every round that the fight goes on.
Can I be real with you though? Can I be honest with you?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Miller doesn't really move. Hrgovic doesn't really move. Parker moves.
Yeah, it's a good point. But we've seen Parker against a slow heavyweight who sustains pressure. Like the best Joe Joyce was in that Parker fight, where that was when Joyce could just walk you down the whole fight. He didn't throw many punches, but when he did throw, they were heavy. Dubois throws more than Joyce. I just don't see a world where Parker isn't still getting hit in the 11th, 12th round.
100%. He's been in some really, really tough fights over the years, but I don't know, man. I think there's an element of Dubois overlooking Parker as well, which is very dangerous.
I agree with that. I do think that could be a big factor.
And I
Dubois
don't
talking about Usyk non-stop.
With the biggest of respects, I don't feel as if the mindset Dubois maybe carries day to day can be somebody who can focus on two things like that.
Agreed. No, you are right though, and to be fair,
nicely, bro.
I'm slightly concerned for the exact reason you're saying, in that Dubois seems to be non-stop talking about, up until this week, fight week, Usyk. He seems to be talking about Usyk. I get it, because Dubois wants revenge, and that's the big fight. That is the fight now. Realistically, that's the fight everyone wants to see at the moment. But Parker, you can make an argument that technically right now, Parker is the third best heavyweight in the world. I would still say Fury, because you're saying Usyk's number one. Dubois, I think you have to put number two because he's world champ and he beat AJ, who's number three. And because I think Fury's retired as well. And whether you think he's retired or not, he has said he's retired, and his last two fights he's lost. So I'm saying he is retired, and therefore it goes Usyk, Dubois, And it ain't going to be AJ because AJ just got battered by Dubois. So it's got to be Parker.
No way.
But then where are you putting where's Parker?
Basing it off wins, of who's won what and won what.
I'm basing it off of right now. Right now, Parker is coming off of a Zhang win, a Wilder win. His career-wise, he's already been world champ.
No. I agree with what you're saying. In that sense, let's deduct Wilder from this conversation because you know what I think of that.
Yeah, I know, but it's still a dangerous fight.
Dangerous fighter.
And that was, in fairness, that was before we realised, okay, what Wilder is actually washed.
Right, I'll be brutally honest with you. Yeah, I've said it from the start. I'm probably going to see. Maybe I'll see him at an event one day. And he just will say, "You remember you said this," or he'll never see our content. Either way, I'm sticking to my guns, bro. On that, I'll go back to Joseph Parker in a minute, but Wilder has got the most bouncy pillow talk record going, bro.
I know. I'm not saying that's the best win. I'm saying if you look at recent form, Usyk is undeniably number one. There's no question over that. But Dubois is, if we're saying that Usyk, if Fury is out, if we're saying Fury is not a boxer anymore, which I don't think he is, and he's saying he is.
That basis, fair enough. Yeah, we could.
Then it has to be Dubois number 2.
Fair enough.
And if you're going off of form, then it has to be Parker. All I'm saying really is that I don't want Dubois to think this is some easy pushover fight when it really fucking is.
Can I be honest with you? Yeah, and this is not a funny thing to say, bro. But you know why he needs to focus, bro? Because he's not somebody who comes across to me that can focus on multiple things like the U6 can or Fury.
Yeah, you're right.
But so I'm saying to you, like mentally, he can't be talking about other fighters fight week, bro. He can't.
No, that's true. I mean, we know he's not the strongest mentally.
No. Yeah, I'm not. It's one way of putting it, but I'm not saying like anything about what he may have gone through because I think, and I could be wrong, but it might be linked. He might be linked to obviously condition from when he was young, innit? So, you know, that's
not what I mean, by the way. When I say, I mean, as in we've seen him get
the piss out of him because he got autism.
No! Don't do that because he will kill me, and that is not what I mean. I mean mentally, as in we've seen against Usyk where he should have got the knockdown, or felt like he should have got the knockdown for the low blow, and then his head was just not in that fight anymore.
Well, I'm going to be honest, yeah. I'll say it on camera, yeah, because I actually think it's amazing, by the way, that he fights, considering. Does he have... Because I've heard from multiple people, all right, there's no evidence to say Daniel Dubois has got autism, so it's a fake claim. But this has been the rumour circulating for a number of years, which would obviously make sense because of maybe his behavioural patterns and stuff. But there's no truth behind that. So that is a myth, by the way, just to clarify with people, as far as we know.
That's not what I was referring to. I do understand why it sounded like it, but I just meant purely that. I know, and I'm just trying to not get my fucking head taken off by the most powerful man in the world right now. So, now the point is that Dubois needs to be focused on the matter at hand, and that is Parker.
All right, cool.
Will beat him.
Do you know what? Because there is no link conditions, and I'm very careful and very appreciative of that sort of thing, so I can understand where people are talking. We're just talking about maybe Dubois being not probably more awkward than a lot of fighters in terms of conversation and stuff. Maybe internally he's somebody who just likes to get down to fighting, and he's not on all the media, social media. We know he operates a flip phone.
Yeah.
You know, no, I'm saying to you, like, I'm genuinely.
I know.
So I'm saying to you, like, for me, he doesn't strike me as the person who's the most mentally strong in terms of maybe the chat or as quick as witty as other boxers. So I don't think he can afford to overlook Parker. Yeah. So that's kind of my assessment, my doctor's assessment on that. But just to clarify to people, the claim that he's got autism, which a lot of people make, is actually a myth. Which I actually thought it was true talking to some people, but it's not. It's interesting, you know.
Yeah. Official prediction then.
Joseph Parker wins.
I'm going Daniel Dubois wins.
My Uso, man. What are we doing? Another dare?
Oh, we could do it there for this one.
I'm still
I'll do
waiting
it for this one.
All right, clean slate. We'll do this one.
Clean slate. All right.
No, because you've expired the time, bro. Like you can't. Here's the thing. We had a bet for the other one, but you've taken too long to come back.
Okay.
We've done a whole month of shows, bro. Like since plus.
So can I not redeem it, or is it okay? All right,
20...
fine. We'll go from here. We'll go from here. This is where we actually start doing it. Dubois-Parker. I'm saying Dubois will win. You're saying Joseph Parker will win. We go from here.
What are we doing?
Well, we've got to do the shake first because we haven't done that yet. So we'll do that and then we'll go from there and think of some other stupid shit. But cool. Main event. I'm not doing any dares for Bivol-Beterbiev because you have no idea.
Just enjoy it, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, where do we even start with this? We all saw the first fight. We know how good this fight can be. If it's anything like the first fight, it'll be brilliant. If it's better than the first fight, then it'll be one of the best fights. It could be the best fight I've ever seen, technically. Yeah. That's the level we're at with these guys. How do you think Bivol can win? What can he do?
Do you know what? I think Bivol can alternate his game a lot more. I think he's got to set up his shots carefully. Beterbiev is a great counter puncher as well. So and he is patient, and so is Bivol. It's a chess match, bro. But I feel like Bivol has more room in his artillery to alternate his game than I'd say Beterbiev does. But then, how can you sit there and say that somebody who obviously has beaten Dmitry Bivol, which is a mental achievement, by the way?
Yeah.
Regardless of what people thought of the result, because that they were saying that Bivol won. Some people. That's one of the least favorite maybe results in boxing because I'm hearing, I'm in the agreement that Beterbiev won, by the way.
Right.
But he's gonna fight. Bivol's gonna look to set up shots, maybe fight in the pocket a little bit. He's quick enough to get in and out as well. Probably got a lot more speed than Beterbiev possesses. So I think he'll look to use that maybe to get an advantage, which is my non-technical approach.
Yeah.
My casual opinion, if you want to call it, some people will say we might get berated in the comments for it. Who are these boxing experts? Never claimed to be one, bro. I'm just a fan of boxing. Leave me alone. Go and eat your dinner. Put your feet up and just shush, man. Bivol, I think he can alternate and change his game a lot more. It's really hard because I don't feel like he's going to give anything away or has given anything away or told anyone about it or spoke about the fight. It's kind of like Terminator in front of camera. So it's like
you got Terminator versus like a grizzly bear. That's kind of what we're doing with these two.
Terminator v Terminator, War of the Machines, man. What a film. You might be too young to remember that one, Connor.
I'll be honest with you. I think I've only watched Terminator 2 and I watched it about 5 years ago.
Yeah, watch War of the... Yeah, man.
I need to kind of get on that. But
yeah, look, it's a really hard fight to call. And I think we'd be stupid to sit here and go into the technical elements of it more because it's just so hard, bro. Like I think Bivol's going to win rounds. Beterbiev's going to win rounds. They're not knocking each other out. It's going to go to points again. I think, and Bivol will win.
So I thought Bivol won the first fight, but I don't think it was a robbery. I'm not saying that. I think at the time I did, and then I rewatched it, and I was less emotional. But that fight absorbed everyone watching it. My worry for Bivol is I think he needs to be more active in the rounds.
Yeah,
and I think he said that himself. That's probably what he would be looking to do to win more rounds. The worry is you become more active, you become more open. And if you're more open against one of the most dangerous fighters in the world, there's a much bigger chance you're getting hit with something you don't want to get hit by. I think this fight could be really hard for Bivol. In all honesty, I think he should fight the way he was fighting the first fight. Continue it like it's round 13. Do his thing. Maybe he didn't really take a break is the problem, but the only thing I can think is try and be a little bit sharper defensively, and that's quite harsh to say because of how sharp he was.
Yeah.
But if he gets hit a little bit less, he might be all right. Or even small things like reacting less to shots.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if he can do that, but some of those shots seem to move him and move his whole body.
Mm.
If he could just stand his ground as if it didn't do anything. But we're talking the finest of details for these guys. The finest of details. And yeah, I'm so excited. But I'm going to go Bivol, but no, I'm going to go Beterbiev on the basis that I think Bivol's going to have to do too much to try and overhaul it. And I don't think he'll be able to do it. Because I think what he did in the first fight was brilliant. I don't see how you get any better. But different judges might see it differently. That's how close the fight was. And you're going Bivol, or are you going Beterbiev?
I'm going Bivol for this fight.
You're going Bivol. Okay.
I'm going Bivol. We're not allowed to sit on the fence, are we, Connor?
No, we ain't sitting on the
very
fence.
Very hard fight, though. It's not really. Everyone's throwing out their predictions, bro. But I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I'm just hearing the same thing, bro. Like, everyone's really trying to break this fight down.
Yeah.
And I just think it's one of them fights that.
Bro, you gotta have been boxing for years to be able to break this down.
You need to be. If the only people that I'm listening in this build up to this fight in terms of for a result are people like Spencer Fearon. Yeah. Like, no, I'm being serious. Like, that's a knowledgeable man within boxing, bro. Like, ever watch any of his content or anything like that? I have the pleasure of speaking to him sometimes as well. Really nice guy. But his knowledge of, like, listening to him and the way he breaks down fights afterwards, because he does stuff like that on his channel, they're really interesting to watch. I do watch him as well. He broke down a Beterbiev Bivol fight afterwards, not number one.
Yeah.
I believe I don't want to get this wrong, but I remember him saying that it wasn't a robbery per se. Like Beterbiev won, explained why, gave a good explanation. The opinion is probably more for the hardcore boxing fans and boxers involved, not the casuals. But maybe as well. See, I say watch that fight on mute, but I can't because realistically, I'm going to watch it with commentary. But I do feel like the crowd, the commentary, and everything else can play a part maybe in decision, but on some people's decisions. Look at the Barboza and Catterall fight, which I watched. There was a few times where even Barboza kind of laughed at the crowd because they were screaming at nothing, like hitting gloves. But these things do, like, because the judges are human. Do you know what I mean? So if they do, I feel like they do see certain things and they hear people's reactions and that they might be looking at something, and it could sway their decision either way, man. So
yeah, true.
So it's a tough fight, but again, one of the best fights of the year, if not the best currently this year, until we see otherwise.
I don't know if it can get much better.
Yeah, do you know what's mad? Yeah, I don't even think Canelo and Crawford comes close to this.
No, because this is two guys who are. I know age is a factor on Beterbiev's side, but he's in his prime. This is the best Beterbiev we've seen. Doesn't matter his age. Age is only a factor when it's like, okay, maybe they don't look as good as they have done before. I have never seen Beterbiev look as good as he did against Bivol. So
I need to see him win. If Beterbiev wins, does what he does, then say 42, 43, because he's 40 now. So say 42, 43, retires, comes back, punches Jake Paul up for 100 million to take that fight. And have a little joke, have a little play about, see what's out there. But yeah, man, like going back to it, Bivol, I've got Bivol to win.
All right. Okay, I mean that is Boxing This Week 36. And that is leading us into a massive fight week. The open workouts have just happened whilst we were streaming. We will obviously next week's episode will be rounding it all up. I can't even think what fights are next week, but to be honest, that's back of my mind because this week is all about Bivol-Beterbiev II. We're going to say goodbye. We'll see you next week. Normal time, Thursday, 7:45, right here at Hook Casuals. Subscribe, like. Paolo, go ahead and do a little outro. And he said the word wrong. That's crazy.
Just be here, man. Good
Just
night.
be here. Good night.